So many huge new fights have been announced for 2025, and you know what? There's a lot of huge fights. I wouldn't usually cover this many fights from different cards like this in one video, but I'm going to try something new. So starting off, each fight that I'm going to be going over, we got UFC 311's main event and co-main event, which the main event is Islam Makhachev taking on Arman Tsarukyan. And I am so excited for this fight. This fight's been kind of delayed with Arman getting suspended after punching a fan, and a lot of people have been calling out Islam from welterweight and from featherweight and other contenders in the lightweight division that everyone's just kind of forgetting about this fight. But I do think that Arman's going to get absolutely wrecked by the future GOAT of the sport in Islam Makhachev. I do feel like Islam is the future GOAT of the sport. I think he's going to beat Arman. I think he's going to beat Ilia Topuria. I think he's going to beat Oliveira if they ever fight. I think he'd beat Shavkat or Bilal if he ever moved up. I think that he'd beat absolutely everybody around him. And honestly, the only thing that's going to stop him from becoming the GOAT of the sport is if he retires too early like Khabib did. But this is an absolutely great fight, and now I should actually begin to go over it. Arman Tsarukyan, one of the few fighters that Islam's ever fought who can actually match him in the grappling and can match him in the power. Arman used to have pillow hands, but he has shown in his last few fights that he does know how to sting somebody on the feet, and he does have some pretty great ground game. He out-wrestled Charles Oliveira. I don't know about out-grappling him. He did get caught in some pretty deep submissions at the end of every single round, but he was able to take down Charles Oliveira at will. He was able to flatline Beneil Dariush. He was able to beat Dasmir Ismagulov. They did already fight once in the past, Islam and Arman did, but the fight was not very close. Islam did clearly win, and it was Arman's UFC debut. So both these fighters have changed a lot since that fight. But ultimately, I am going to be going with Islam Makhachev to keep his lightweight belt and get his fourth lightweight title defense, and I do think that he's going to beat Arman by a third-round TKO. There are a few more great fights that I still got to talk about, and the next one is our UFC 311 co-main event in Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. This fight's going to be super boring. I don't really care about it. I hate Umar because he got fast-tracked to the belt and he didn't deserve this title shot at all, and I hate Merab because I hate Merab. Okay, I really hope that Merab loses, though, so I am going to go with Umar just because I want to see Merab lose. But honestly, if we're going to be real here, Umar is the one person that can actually match his wrestling, and Merab's been talked about to have this great cardio if you look at his fights with Cejudo and Petr Yan, but O'Malley beat him in the third and the fifth. O'Malley beat him in the third and the fifth round, and then you're talking about Merab's cardio so great, Sean O'Malley's beating him in the fifth, and you're trying to say that his cardio is great? Get out of here, dude. I think Umar's going to be able to match his cardio. I think Umar's going to be able to get the pace pushed on him and respond. That's something that not a lot of other fighters can do. Umar can respond on the ground. Umar can respond with takedown defense or takedown attempts, right? And I do think that he'll be able to defend a lot of the takedowns that Merab's shooting on him, right? This isn't a Sean O'Malley level grappler. This isn't a Petr Yan level grappler, you know? This is Umar Nurmagomedov. This is a Nurmagomedov, you know? And he is undefeated. And he did absolutely school Corey Sandhagen, all right? And even though I don't feel like he deserves this title shot, I feel like it should have went to Petr Yan, I do think that Umar has a way better chance to beat Merab than Petr Yan does. And I would also way rather see Petr Yan fight Umar than fight Merab. Styles make fights. I do think that Umar's going to beat Merab. I think it's going to be a really close fight. I think the grappling is going to be really, really entertaining to watch, but it's just going to have to come down to that striking. Merab is very, very bad on the feet, and we already know this by now, but Umar has proven to be actually very good on the feet, outstriking Corey Sandhagen. So maybe if Umar can get his own takedowns going and get his own offensive grappling going on Merab, it could overwhelm him and lead to a decision win for Umar Nurmagomedov. So I am going to take Umar to get the UFC bantamweight belt by a 49-46 or maybe a 50-45 unanimous decision. Moving on to the UFC 312 card in Sydney, Australia in February, we got the main event. Sean Strickland is rematching with Dricus du Plessis, trying to get his belt back that he never really lost, all right? I feel like it should have went to Khamzat Chimaev. I feel like the title shot should have went to Khamzat. I get it. Sean Strickland got robbed. Sean Strickland 4-1'd Dricus du Plessis and didn't get his hand raised. I understand that. Khamzat deserves the title shot at this point. Sean Strickland had a terrible performance against Paulo Costa, which I know people blame Paulo Costa for that, but honestly, I blame Sean Strickland just as much as I blame Paulo Costa. All right? Sean Strickland is just as much at fault for that boring fight as Paulo Costa is. All right? Khamzat Chimaev is choking out Robert Whittaker and breaking his jaw in half in one round. Sean Strickland's not doing that. If Sean Strickland fights Robert Whittaker, the only way he wins is by teeping his thigh and jabbing him for 25 minutes and winning a 48-47 split decision. It's not the same as what Khamzat's doing right now. What Khamzat did to Robert Whittaker was absolutely unheard of, and no one's been able to do that to him ever. Khamzat just did it with ease. All right? Paulo Costa's been beat so much worse than that by Sean Strickland. All right? Sean Strickland barely even beat him. Paulo Costa won a round. Paulo Costa debatably won 2 rounds. But I can't pick. I was about to pick Sean Strickland. I cannot pick Sean Strickland to beat Dricus du Plessis. Dricus du Plessis is so much better than he was when he originally fought Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland has not really shown to improve that much since he fought Dricus du Plessis. Dricus du Plessis, though, has. And he's been calling out guys like Khamzat Chimaev. And he's been calling out guys like Sean Strickland. And he's been willing to fight anybody in his division. He's not talking about moving up or moving down. He's not talking about ducking any of these fighters in his division. He is willing to defend this belt. His confidence level is high. All right. He's improved so much since he fought Sean Strickland. He beat Israel Adesanya so impressively, choking out Israel Adesanya. I mean, I'm gonna take Dricus du Plessis by submission. I think he's going to choke out Sean Strickland. Trust me, I'm rooting for Sean Strickland just as much as every other person that's going to watch. You know, every other non-South African that's going to be rooting for Sean Strickland. Trust me, I'm rooting for him. But you got to remember, his fight with Paulo Costa was so disappointing. Dricus du Plessis choking out Israel Adesanya. It's so much more impressive than anything that Sean Strickland's doing. I got to go with Dricus du Plessis. So give me Dricus du Plessis by a 5th round submission. I'm so excited for this fight. Finally, the last fight I'm going to be going over is Israel Adesanya is coming back February 1st to take on Nassourdine Imavov. And I wish they gave him Kyle Baralho. I think that would have been a way better fight. I think it would have been a way better name. Nobody really likes Nassourdine. No one really cares about Nassourdine. And I want to actually be able to root for someone to beat Izzy because I hate Izzy. But they gave the shot to Nassourdine Imavov. This is probably going to be a number 1 contenders fight. The winner of this fight's probably going to get another title shot. Please, Izzy. Please, Izzy. If Izzy wins and gets another title shot, this is a pathetic division. This really, really is. If Izzy wins and gets another title shot, no way. That's what they're probably going to do. So I'm pulling for Nassourdine Imavov, man. I am not trying to see Izzy in the title conversation ever again. All right? Ever again. The Izzy era is over. Get out of here. No more title shots for Israel Adesanya. We need other fighters in this middleweight division. We need other contenders. We can't just have all these rematches or all these immediate title shots. It's bad. All right? It's really bad. Nassourdine Imavov, great striker. Israel Adesanya, great striker, right? I don't think Nassourdine Imavov is going to be able to push a wrestling pace on Izzy. Maybe he can mix in the takedowns, but I doubt it. If you're not taking down Chris Curtis, you're not taking down Israel Adesanya. So, Nassourdine Imavov is going to have to outstrike Israel Adesanya. Part of me is thinking, wow, of course Izzy's a better striker than Nassourdine Imavov. But the other part of me is thinking, like, wow, Izzy's not the same Izzy. This is not the same fighter that we've ever seen. You know, this is a washed up, old, out of his prime Israel Adesanya. And for that reason, I'm going to be taking Nassourdine Imavov to win by a 4th round KO. Actually, 3rd round TKO. Give me Nassourdine Imavov, 3rd round TKO. I'm so hyped for these fights. UFC 2025 is going to be so stacked. And who's with me?